back to Watch Out Jennifer in the kitchen. I'm trying to keep myself nice and cozy. I still have my coffee since this morning. It's been so long since I made my last cooking with me video, so we're back and better. I'm so ready to get started on cooking. I am really excited to share this autumn cozy meal with you all. It is such a heartwarming, cozy meal, and I'm sure you guys will love it. So today we're going to be making a homemade butternut squash soup, homemade baguette, and this will be my first time cooking this kind of meal. I had this meal in my mind. I wrote this down on my autumn bucket list and I wanted to try this meal out. So I have been watching plenty of videos and reading food blogs. I just thought it would be really cool to cook this kind of meal. I really hope you enjoy this and try this out for yourself during this autumn season. So without further ado, let's get on the kitchen and start cooking. So just to let you guys know, all of the recipe and ingredients will be listed down in my description box down below, in case if you guys would like to try this meal or cook this out for yourself, or maybe if you want to try this out and write this down on your next grocery list. I think it will be really fun and nice to try this out. And I also recommend, if you guys like to listen to music while you're cooking, that is what I like to do. It just keeps me motivated and not thinking about other things. So I just like to play music on the background while I'm cooking. I like to listen to jazz music while I'm cooking. I just think it's really peaceful and not thinking about other things. If that's what you like to do, you can do whatever you desired. So for the baguette, I'm gonna get started and showing you guys what I'll be using. It's pretty easy, only 4 ingredients. So you're gonna need like warm water or like room temperature water, and then you're gonna need some dry yeast. That is what I got at my local grocery store. So you will just need only 1 pack of dried yeast, and this is what my packet looks like. Again, I'll be using only 1 pack, so that is what it looks like. And I'm sure there's like different kind of dry yeast in the grocery store, but this is what I use. And another thing it'll be great to have in your pantry is having an all-purpose flour. Another thing you'll be needing some salt, and that's pretty much it. So before we get started, I need to activate the dry yeast so we can prep the bread. So I just pour in my active dry yeast in this bowl with some warm water. So I'm gonna have this just sit there and make sure there's like little bubbles. Now that we have our flour and our salt together, I'm just going to mix it all together. So we're going to create a well in the middle of the flour where we're going to pour in the dry yeast. I'm just going to use a cup that I have sitting on the table and it's clean. So this is where I'm going to be pouring the dry yeast right in the middle. For creating this, you can use like a little small bowl like this or like a little spoon. So the recipe did call for 10 ounces of water, so I just used 8 ounces of cool water. I just make sure that I was mixing it really well and making sure it's not too runny. So I'm going to have the bread just sit in a cool area for an hour and a half so it can sit and rise, and then we will get back to it. We wait for the bread to rise. Before we get started, I'm going to prep my oven for 425 Fahrenheit. So I'm going to get started on chopping up the butternut squash, some onions. So I'm going to chop this up and remove the seeds and place this in the oven for about an hour and have it cook, so it'll be easy for me to scoop out the squash and place it in a separate bowl. And then I'm gonna place some heavy whipping cream, so it should be really good, and I'm sure it's gonna taste really good. So the first thing, you want to look for a squash that is 3.5 pounds. First thing, you want to make sure you have a sharp knife. I started trimming the top and the bottom of the squash. Then using a potato peeler, you are going to need to peel off the skin of the squash. You are going to notice it comes out really easy, like peeling a potato. Next, you're going to lay the squash down where the bulb meets the neck. Then you're going to cut that half. Next, I'm going to lay my squash down where the bulb meets the neck. So the bulb is where the seeds are at. You can cut that in half. Now you can see where the seeds are at. Now you're going to need to scoop off the seeds with a spoon. If you like roasting pumpkin seeds and also like pumpkin nut squash seeds, it's pretty easy to bake. I'm going to slice in half and make it a lot easier to work with. And you want to make sure you have a good shape so the squash can cook evenly. Then I'm going to cut into thick strips and cut into cubes. The neck of the squash, I'm going to stand it up, rock your knife and back and forth so it'll be more easier, and cut over the top slice into 4 blocks. From here, I'm going to slice the bulb into thick half moons and lay them down. We finally cut and chopped the butternut squash, and I did wanted to add some carrots because I did saw this recipe. You can add some carrots to add some color to the butternut squash soup. It was pretty tricky cutting the butternut squash because my knife wasn't sharp enough, but I'm glad that I got through it and it came out really nice. I am going to place this in the oven and roast pumpkin seeds because my husband really loves pumpkin seeds. I will do this later on. So this is a tablespoon of olive oil. So I'm going to drizzle this into the butternut squash. Okay, so I'm going to pop this in the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes, and then we will blend everything together in a blender.
Sitting on my own in a hotel room on a rainy.
Once all of the veggies are lightly brown tender, flip them evenly cooked.
Guitar, and I'm far away, sipping cold tea with a loose brand leaf.
So the bulb of the squash in the oven for 30 minutes.
Slip into a dream of a wish of mine, but it won't come true.
large area, add flour to thicken the dough, or you can use a standing mix to speed up the process quicker. I just decided to use my clean hand and get creative. You are looking for a soft and smooth dough, adding more flours.
You touched my skin. Now you're far up.
So you're going to want to do this for about 5 minutes, rolling in and out. The key is not to have a wet or sticky dough. Now you need to cut the dough into 6 pieces to work on section of the dough.
Waiting for a time when you leave my mind, but you never do. Tell me that you feel it. Tell me that you feel it too. Tell me that you need me.
So take each pieces and roll it into a small ball. Now it's time to shape the dough into baguettes. Take each dough pieces. Try to move the dough pieces into the center, then you will need to roll it in a long baguette shapes. This process is not easy and it took me a while to get this routine. Now you will repeat the same process for 6 of the doughs. So once done, you want to place it on a flour tray and make sure that there are space in between. Now you want to set your baguette to the side and let it rise for about 45 minutes.
Tell me that you need me.
Then working in small amount, I'm going to transfer the squash into a blender and add 1.5–2 cups of broth and 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. You can add more. How thin or how thick will last up to 5 days. When it's time for you to eat, you can heat it up into a soup pot. After 45 minutes, I'm going to make small slices.
But that you need me too. Sitting on my own in a hotel room.
And serve and enjoy your hot, cozy autumn soup. The soup was really delicious. I did add some pumpkin seed on the top for a good flavor and layer, and really sweet and creamy. You guys, I can't tell you how delicious this cozy meal was. I really hope you enjoyed this cook with me. Let me know down in a comment if you try this for yourself. Until next time, friends, I will see you guys on the next video. Bye!